Yes, sir. Can you guys hear me? Do you guys hear me? We are back with another one. It is Moolah vs. Live. It's your boy Kamish Moolah. The regular season is wrapped up. It was a long season, but it was a good season. It was a grind, man. Y'all know it's just me in the station, man, in the ship, in the Moolah ship, getting it done. It was our very first college season, and I want to say I appreciate everybody for all the support, all the players. Thanks for participating. Thanks for staying active and sticking with the program. For all the guys that stayed active and stuck around. We really had a good time, man. The regular season was fun. We created a beautiful thing here, and we're gonna keep this thing going. College football comes out soon, so that's another big plus that's gonna take us to the top. It's some things that I'm debating about structure-wise. I'm thinking about should I do a pro series before college series, or should I just do the second year and then let y'all come in as a class? But I guess that's something that we could chop it up about as a community. Because with college coming out in July, I'm thinking if we take the month of June to relax. I'm gonna do some basketball things. I'm gonna do like a small basketball season, pro season. We're gonna condense the teams, make it real intimate, make it real just easier than what the older SBA structure was. Although like some of the stuff looked easy behind the scenes, it takes a lot of work. So I'm thinking because NCAA comes out in July, 1 month is not a lot of time to even give you a pro series, and I don't want to miss on the opportunity of starting a league like at the time that NCAA drops. So shout out to my guy Star Rail Companion. I'm not sure if you're playing the league, but salute to you. And yeah, man. So I'm like debating between starting up like doing some type of pro season or condensed pro season before NCAA drops, but I still don't feel like it's enough time. And because it's only me, it's gonna be hard for me to be creating players, doing the conference realignment, schedules, graphics for season 2 of the college series, and doing all of that for the pro series at the same time. So I'm still debating, still figuring it out. But we gonna come up with something. I'm gonna ask some of you guys in the community, which would you rather? I am trying to get a set schedule, guys, for the streams moving forward. I'm looking forward to maybe like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing. The only issue at times, or maybe a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday thing. The only issue at times with that is that I do have a child, and I'm an entrepreneur, so like I do events at the gallery, the studio, and that kind of comes on the basis of different creatives that I meet with. Booking the spaces and booking, me to host their events at different times. I also got an organization called Black Gotham Experience that does a lot of work in the community. And sometimes I just can't call the schedule. However, I am trying to get us somewhat of a consistent schedule, so that way we on the right track, and it's easier to follow things. I still think it's easy to follow things because I'm always in the Discord and guys can access me, but I do think having something consistently set helps people when they have their busy lives going on, and they just know that they could tune in at this time and catch up with everything. So we're getting better, but like I said, one man army, man, and I still feel like we're ahead of the curve. It's not too much competition as far as the way we're doing things, and I'm excited about that. But the season has been amazing. We're gonna go through some season reviews, some league leaders, 1K club as far as the running backs, and when we do the leaders today, we're gonna do offense. When we wrap up the second round, we'll do season leaders on the defense. So just to space that thing out a bit, I'll review a couple of teams in their totality. I think I may start with like maybe some playoff teams or guys who's in the chat. I may like cover your teams. I sent everybody their stats in their team locker rooms, so we're gonna actually be using Discord too to go into not the locker rooms, but go into the locker rooms and look at the stat graphics, because we use the mod and we use the schedule mod to make everybody play 12 games. And what that does is my Madden franchise tool has different fouls because different weeks teams hit 12 games. Like every team didn't hit 12 games in the same week. So I had to duplicate certain fouls to stay at where this team had 12 games, where this team had 12 games, and so on and so forth. So it's always a process behind the scenes of like putting this stuff together. Thank God we're not gonna have the mod anymore. We're gonna have the NCAA interface. That's going to definitely make my life easier. Then graphics. I hit guys with a lot of graphics early on, and then I kind of like trailed off a bit at the end of the season because I just had to kick out games. We got 32 teams. It's about 16, 15, 14 at minimum games a week. With 14 games a week, one of me streaming all the games, it could get tough with trying to do graphics and things like that. However, whenever I have time in between, I still was doing stat graphics and things of that nature. Just didn't really keep it up with the Instagram. I did get the pictures and the graphics and was sending them in the Discord, but I was not posting them on Instagram or the YouTube community tab. But I'm going to get that together. I'm trying to work with some guys that can run the social media for the league moving forward. And that'll free up some time for me because now I can make the graphics, send them the templates to make the graphics. They could post it. You guys could show off on the gram and stuff like that. But Instagram honestly wasn't a priority this first season. It really was YouTube, getting the content on YouTube and building a consistent community, a consistent family. And I think we did that. We have some guys that I know I can count on as far as activity, guys that I know I could count on as far as structure and knowing what we're doing going forward. And I think that was just the perfect recipe needed to moving this thing further along properly. This is the first season. It's not even a year of the football. As it pertains to basketball, we killed that to begin the channel to help us grow a lot. And we're going to continue to do basketball and football because I essentially want a whole community of, all sports. I'm starting with basketball and football because that's what I can do. But as we get bigger, I do want to incorporate other sports. But for now, it'll be basketball and football, 2K, Madden, and NCAA. And, we're just going to have some fun with it. And we're just going to build out the community properly. Build out the community the way it's supposed to be built. And we're not going to trip on how many users we have or active users we have, only because the channel has grown to a point where we get a lot of eyes outside of the actual players, and they've been consistent. They've been coming back and just enjoying the content of more football, simulation football. So as long as we continue to drive our narratives with the guys that we have here, it's easier to follow certain things. Shout out to my guy Chris Beach, another one of those trusty Moolahverse members, man. So I do want to continue to just build and continue to add to the family, but we not tripping. Slow motion is better than no motion. And as far as the channel is going, we've been doing really good, bro. We're almost at 1,500 subscribers. We getting paid from ads, and guys still upping their players, doing what they need to do. So didn't mean to give too much of a spill on just the overview of the Moolahverse to introduce this podcast, but I did feel like it was necessary. We at the end of the season, we're into the playoffs. I'm like, you know what? Let me get back in tune with my guys. Let them know what we're doing in the future. We do have. I'm gonna load this up just for 1 second. I'm gonna do a window capture real quick here and just show you guys this Discord so you can see. Okay, so we got the Discord right here. Oh, I didn't mean to show the locker room, but if we go to the important updates, right, you could see here how I laid out this message, and it basically shows you guys what we have completed in the Moolahverse. We have SBA college wrapped up. We got SBA overseas wrapped up. We got SBA high school wrapped up, and that's for our basketball league. And then we just started MSFL college series, and that will be done most likely before June, or it will be finishing early June. We're going to the second round of the playoffs, 4 teams left. So, we moving that thing along. We're gonna wrap that up in this podcast as well. And then you got SBA Pros. We're gonna do the first season of Pros. We have a nice amount of players created on 2K24 from when I was been doing it before the college series. So we're gonna open up applications for new players or players that's in the Moolah versus football that would like to play basketball. We're gonna get that opened up for you guys or anybody else. This is the time now to let your people know, join the experience, because what I'm trying to do with pros, what I'm trying to do with everything on this channel from now on is just keep it intimate between our community. We got a lot of subscribers and a lot of outside people, and that's not a problem. But I don't want to get so caught up in trying to please everyone that the core guys, the core guys experience start to get hindered. Like, I don't want the core guys waiting on series because we're trying to get to a certain number of applicants or we're trying to get to a certain number of active guys. We're gonna run with what we have, and people will start to fill in naturally. You know what I mean? We got AIs and generics, so we always can create narratives. We always can keep this thing fun and make the storylines fun. And I think part of the new model that I want to rock with is more so digging into the stories. I always told you guys I just want to get the content down so we can start digging into the storylines of each player, each team, and I think with this new way that I'm gonna do the content as far as just rocking with who's here and letting people fall in naturally, I think that we're gonna have a lot more success as far as kicking the narrative into place and having graphics and things that are more immersive. I figure if I work on the world, it'll make a lot of the things within the world a lot better. So we're gonna get into the player stuff now. We're gonna get into the season stuff, but I just wanted to show you guys little milestone. We almost had a quarter million views on YouTube, thanks to y'all support. And now we're gonna get into these stat graphics. We're gonna start off, I think we can start off with the league leaders. Do y'all want to start off looking at some team overall stuff, or y'all want to look up the league leaders? I think starting with the league leaders makes sense. If there's any teams that you guys want to follow, let me know. If there's a team that you want to dig into and wrap up, I have every team's stats available. But we could just go straight into league leaders. Let's do it. Let's go into league leaders. So here we go. Let me get this thumbnail from behind. For the passing yards leader, we got my boy Duncan Woods. Duncan Woods is a user quarterback for Oklahoma. He threw for 3,600 yards. And Oklahoma honestly wasn't they were an up and down team this year. But I can say that their passing game was elite. They passed the ball more than anybody in the league. Hence why Duncan Woods, is the leader. But that still takes talent. Just because you're passing more than everybody, doesn't mean that you're going to have success. He obviously had success. He has about 300 more yards than the second guy on the list. So that this kid is talented. If you looked at him from a consistency standpoint, he definitely was putting up. You would count on him to have big numbers in most of these games. He's a freshman that I feel like has a big arm and was just really prepared this year. However, the talent of the team overall just wasn't clicking enough for them to be a top team. However, they were a good team. I think they finished the season 6-6. I believe they was 500. When we do team wrap-ups, we'll get into that. But Duncan Woods had a really good season. Following him is Ace Andre Roche. Everybody knows about Ace, Malcolm candidate. The kid makes plays. He is kind of like that guy over there. He's that guy for Ole Miss. Ole Miss, is tough. Ole Miss is a tough team. You cannot sleep on Ole Miss. They got a big matchup against Alabama. And speaking of Alabama, at number 3, we got Duke Davis with 3,090 yards. And Duke Davis and Ace was kind of the front runners for the top 2 quarterbacks in the league this year. I feel like for most of the year, I feel like everybody kind of looked at them as, the guys, like the guys to watch at the QB position. I just think between them being users, highly anticipated freshmen in the league. And then the style of play and the big plays that they were able to make, I think, really grasps everybody's attention early. There are a lot of good quarterbacks. Eric Weber is a really good upperclassman. Drew McNeil is a really good freshman as well. Happy Meal McNeil playing for Texas A&M. But I feel like the talent around Duke Davis and Ace Andre Roche was what drew everybody to them this year. And made everybody really feel like, okay, these are the guys that are the standard. And I gotta up my game against these guys. And they played outstanding all season long. I definitely, tip my hat to those guys. Eric Weber of Florida following them, and Drew McNeil at number 5 once again. And this is a good list of quarterbacks. We have one upperclassman, I'll say, in Eric Weber, and then 3 really, really good freshmen who kind of like took this series by storm. Drew McNeil showed a lot of talent, had some turnovers, but overall, Drew McNeil has a lot of talent. Eric Weber just shows his maturity and his experience. Duke Davis is like literally the comeback kid. He's just super clutch, and to be a freshman and play at that level is scary. It's scary. He's going into his sophomore year, and some of the wins that this kid has pulled off is just pro ready. Like, if you could be one and done, I think a lot of scouts would take a chance on Duke Davis, if I'm being honest, because the kid just has ice in his veins, cold-blooded. And Ace Andre Roche is a big play guy, so I feel like you can't miss with him as well. Super consistent, smart kid, just need more reps. And I think that's the case for a lot of these freshmen, and that's what's so dangerous and what's so exciting at the same time for me to watch, as not having a horse in the race. It's like what these guys are going to be able to develop into with the college game coming out, and then being able to transfer them to Madden. You're really going to be able to see these players like elevate their game and evolve into big time players, and I see it. I see it. I just hope that they can stick around the proper situations. And they should be all right. But moving on to passing touchdowns, you got Duncan Woods leading the charge again. Hence why I put him on the cover. I put Duncan Woods on the cover because this kid wasn't somebody that was like glaringly okay. Like, you wasn't fiending to catch a game to see his highlights. He wasn't really too talked about or sought after, but the kid can ball, and he showed you that. His numbers are really good. I just want to check out his full season numbers real quick. I have them written, and I really put in the work, guys. I gotta see what goes on. I be here doing manual stuff because the mods won't track everything, but I be in here cooking, man. I gotta check it out. But I got everything written down. Let me see his stats. Duncan Woods full stats. Can't read off the top of my head, but Duncan Woods, he threw 3,600 yards, 28 touchdowns. He led the league in both passing yards and touchdowns with 3,600 and then 28 passing touchdowns, and he had 11 interceptions. So that ratio is outstanding. To have 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and then lead the league in yards, they weren't just throwing the ball a lot for nothing. They actually have a capable quarterback who was getting it done. And I just think maybe it was some execution things on the defensive end that wasn't clicking. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, Duncan Woods getting that transfer portal, boy, oh boy, guys gotta watch it. His running back ran for 933. So it was a pretty good balanced approach. It was a nice approach from their offense. It just didn't pan out for whatever reason. And that's actually interesting. 11 picks, but they threw it the most. So that's about under 1 a game. You got 12 games. He threw slightly under 1 interception a game, or you could say 1 interception a game. But then he threw it the most, had the most yards and the most touchdowns. So I mean, maybe the risk wasn't worth. Maybe the reward wasn't worth the risk from a season standpoint. When you look at the success of the team, they didn't make the playoffs, but I think seeing the kid's talent some bigger schools might take a chance on them. And I'm saying bigger school like Oklahoma's not a big school, but I'm still debating on how we're gonna run the college series. We're gonna do a Moolah versus conference. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna make use regular traditional colleges to make the Moolah versus conference, or am I just gonna create custom teams? I want to see what you guys feel about that. And for the guys that's in the chat right now, would y'all rather us have a custom conference with custom teams built by us as a league and our narrative, or would you guys rather have an actual college teams? Like, would y'all rather be on actual NCAA teams when NCAA 25 drops? Let me know. I see the comments in the chat. Shout out to all the guys in the chat. We got Elijah Carter, we got Ace Andre Roche, Jay Anthony, Duke Davis, Pharaoh Reigns. Yeah. No, we got No Limit Slum in the building. Shout out to my guy Eli. We got JJ in the building. But Duke says, I don't care, I'm gonna ball. I've been talking to guys getting ready for season 2. Ready for a season 2 run. This guy's talking about a season 2 run, and he's the #1 seed in the playoffs right now. That's how you know that kid Duke Davis is focused, man. And Duke Davis was doing his thing this year, man. He was they game plan for Alabama, and you see the result, bro. So, and Duke is actually was an assistant coach in the RFL. I mean, he was a quarterback in the RFL as well. So he knows some things about sim, and you could tell, man. They were doing game planning for Bama, and they lost one game. So that goes to show you game planning works, and you got to figure it out. But guys saying it doesn't matter either way, custom teams, since we use the NFL teams and the pros, and that's what I was thinking. I kind of still want to have our own imprint and be able to have merch, and like I want to give you guys opportunities to get a shirt with your player and get your team stuff. And between the NFL and the NCAA, we're not going to have that opportunity to, have our own identity as the Moolahverse. And I feel like we're going to be doing what every league is going to do eventually. Every league eventually is going to have, the regular colleges, and they're going to be trying to force that down. Every content creator is going to be regular colleges. And I just think us doing custom teams is a breath of fresh air. Of course, I would still have to see how many custom teams you can put in a dynasty, if you can put custom teams in a dynasty with NCAA 25. But, I'm just hoping and wishing for the best that, it pans out our way. God said we can mix it up. They just ready. So that's what's up. Shout out to the community, man. And you guys keep me going, because you guys being able to ask you guys those questions while I'm building with the Moolahverse, or while we're building with the Moolahverse, is very helpful, bro. Because like I said, a lot of time I'm in this notebook, bro, and it's just pages on pages of like work, ideas and different stuff. So it's always good when I could, utilize you guys to help me. Like, this book is literally just filled with pages of work and stats and things that I manually have to come up with, because like we're utilizing mods and stuff. So it's it's a grind, but I appreciate you guys for definitely sticking with me and helping me take this thing to the next level. So this is the passing touchdowns leaders. You got Duke Davis at 27. He came in second, and just outstanding performance by Duke this year. Can't stress it enough. Just so many clutch performances by him, and that's what's kind of scary, that the kid is only a freshman, but he already handles tough situations like a pro. And he was able to handle a lot of tough situations in the regular season. I'm very interested to see how Duke Davis is going to pan out during the playoffs. It's like, do you guys think that Bama have enough in the tank to have those same comebacks that they had in the playoffs? That's the most interesting part. Do they have enough? Do they have enough, man? They let me know that an ad has been inserted. So pardon me, all the guys that's getting hit with the ad right now. But, it's a business, man. We finally got the YouTube partnership. And whenever you see an ad, man, just drop your salutes in the chat. Drop your salutes in the chat if you see an ad, man. And that's, I don't want you guys getting hit with ads, but it definitely helps out with the ad revenue and growing the channel. They're helping us make a little bit of money to reinvest. So yeah, man. Duke Davis though, do y'all think Alabama has enough in the tank to continue that comeback performance in the way that they have been? I don't know. Y'all let me know. And then we got Ace Andre Roche of Ole Miss. He just won in the first round. We ain't get to the first round wrap up yet, but he just won in the first round, and he's playing Bama next game. So clash of the Titans, clash of the two top freshman QBs, and you can't write this story any better, bro. And this is what's so dope about simulation sports and like being able to wrap up the season. Like when I have time to wrap up the season and do like a storyline, weekly content type of thing, it is lit because things like this needs a whole build up. Like we got Ace versus Duke in the second round, and both of those guys were those guys, man. It's like it's gonna be exciting, bro. Like I'm not gonna lie, bro. It's gonna be super exciting. I'm excited for round two. I can't wait for round two. I think we're gonna have the time of our life watching this round two, man. And it's just seeing who's gonna be the first national champion, bro. Guys saying I think Bama versus Ole Miss winner play for the national title, and I agree, man. When you got Duke Davis and Ace Andre Roche, I think that those two guys are favored to represent on their sides. You do got Eric Weber though. You got Eric Weber, and who's on that bracket? Let me actually see that bracket real quick. We got Eric Weber versus Tyshawn Bryant, though. Tyshawn Bryant is another guy that was right behind Duke Davis and Ace. Like, I think Duke Davis and Ace set the bar super high, but as you can see, Tyshawn Bryant is right under those two. Just missed by a touchdown. And Tyshawn Bryant had exceptional stats, too. So, on the, I believe that's the gridiron side of things. You got a lot of good young quarterbacks who are battling on that side, man. You got Eric Weber up against Tyshawn Bryant, and then you have Duke Davis versus Ace Andre Roche for the prime side, and I mean for the gridiron side, and then on the prime side you have, let me see, you got Zion Lipscomb versus Sam Bucci. Zion had, honestly, probably the best performance out of all quarterbacks in round one. And we're going to get to that when we wrap up the rounds. But Zion had arguably the best QB performance in round one of the playoffs. And he's going against Sam Bucci. And then you got Cam Bryant going against Rob Edwards. Rob Edwards had a really good performance, too, for NC State. I think NC State is a dark horse and they're a bit slept on, and they can maybe rain on some guys' parades though, and make this a ugly natty run, because I know guys will want more so the user guys to get the ring, but NC State played tough, man. NC State played tough. They beat Penn State 30-15. They put up 30 against a tough Penn State team that usually competes. And Tyshawn Bryant, man, he played good. He played pretty good against OSU. That defense stepped up for the Seminoles, and the book was on lock. They beat them 17-3. So it's just a lot, man. We're going to wrap up the playoffs, though. Let me get through these league leaders. But after Tyshawn Bryant, we had a tie for fourth place with Eric Weber and Trey King. So I try to put the top 5 guys on here. Even though we didn't get to 5th in the list, I try to put the top 5. But if there was ties, we did alter it in this way. So Eric Weber, Trey King came in 4th. They both had 24 touchdowns. And it was a lot of good quarterbacks, man. Trey King was another good quarterback for Utah. I think he came on late, but the kid has talent. He's really good, and I think if he comes back, I don't know how he's doing with activity, but if he comes back at NCAA 25 and gets on a nice team, I think Trey King can make some noise. I think he has pro potential. The most pro potential right now got to be the first 4 guys because they're freshmen. The first 4 guys on this list is freshmen. Duncan Woods, Duke Davis, Ace Andre Roche, and Tyshawn Bryant, and they're all exceptional. I think the right situation for any of these guys in next year's game is the sky's the limit, man. The sky's the limit. So shout out to my guy Nino Cavacci, Jay Anthony once again. And we just gonna keep getting through these stats. I keep sidetracking and going into tangents, but that's good for the podcast, good for content, man. Coming in, the rushing yards leader. Here we go, freshman Key Harris of Texas, and Key Harris is super fast. I thought more so a speedy receiving back, but he definitely showed he can get it done on the ground. Really started to ascend second half of the season and got in his bag. And I definitely got to salute Key Harris because might have been some questions about size and him being a 4-down back, more of a speedy guy, complimentary guy. But I think he answered all those questions. He led the league in rushing, 1252 on the season. And Texas just lost in the playoffs first round, but they had a nice run, nice little freshman core. They got outclassed by some more experienced team, but I do think Texas has some pieces. And if we go custom teams and they can retain talent to stick together, I think they're going to go. I think they're going to do really good. I think they're going to be really good. We got Devontae Moore, of course, of Alabama, coming in at number 2, and that's what makes Bama so dangerous. You got Demo in the backfield, and you got Duke Davis at the QB. Then those receivers: Jackson Collins, Christian Russell, Hassan Aziz, the tight end, Pleasance. They just got a multitude of weapons, man. But Devontae Moore was definitely one of the biggest weapons on that team. Really that guy, big play at any moment. Led the league in rushing for a while, but like I said, Key Harris started to pick it up and have crazy games towards the end of the year. And Devontae Moore, I want to say he didn't never really cool off. He stayed strong and consistent for Bama, but at certain times they just gonna kill you in the passing game with Duke Davis and those receivers, so he wasn't even needed. But whenever his numbers call, he's making a difference and making plays. He's also a Malcolm candidate, followed by number 3. Speaking of Malcolm candidates, Ace Lewis, who joined that Malcolm candidate club. I think maybe not being in the playoffs is gonna hurt because you got other candidates that really led their team to a winning place where they was able to, represent in the postseason, and they're still playing throughout. So, Ace definitely took a hit there, but Ace Lewis, 1,159 yards and really good season. He's another guy that caught on late, developed, started to catch the speed of the game as a freshman and took off. All 5 of these guys, running backs, are freshmen. So I think the league is in good hands as far as young backs being ready to go for next season, and pro-ready backs. If these guys hit the 1K club, if they already hit the 1K club, can you imagine what they're gonna develop into? I think they still got room to grow, but they definitely set a high bar for themselves in their freshman year here in the MSFL College Series. So I think it's gonna be a lot of pressure on guys to repeat the performance that they had from all positions, though. QB, running back, it's going to be really interesting to see if these guys are going to be able to continue that level of play on the actual college football game. I think the model was good in representing, college play, but I do think depending on schedules, who you play, because of the wider variety of teams now in college football, I think stats can change a bit. I think if you have a team playing a lot of stout competition, which our conference will have a lot of tough competition, stats may dwindle, and that may hurt guys. But you also have those, teams that's not too good that guys are going to be able to, lean on and run it up against in a broader college environment than a mod with 30 teams who is like really concentrating, a lot of good teams playing against each other often. So I think everything is going to be fun to see pan out. But Key Harris is at number 1, Devontae Moore, Ace Lewis, Patrick Vince at number 4. The Croatian sensation comes in at number 4, man. This kid all the way from Croatia commits to LSU and has a terrific season, 1,115 yards to be exact. And Patrick Vince, just a power back, strong kid, high motor, European kid, built tough. And I like what I'm seeing, man. Shout out to the international guys. We got a lot of guys internationally that tunes into the Moolahverse. and support us. So definitely appreciate you guys for all your support. And thank you, man. Thank you. We're going to keep this thing going. We're going to keep it flowing. At 5, we got Michael Smith of Colorado. Colorado had a decent run as well, but I think they were a bit hindered by just overall talent. Once again, some teams just got it. Like, some teams got it. I'm not going to say some teams got it, some teams don't. But as a unit, it is what it is. When it comes to gelling together and utilizing your talents to its best, some teams just was able to do that a lot better. And Michael Smith was a terrific talent. Ronnie Shanahan was a terrific talent. They had their runs during the season, but overall the ups and downs caught up to them, and they weren't able to make it to the postseason. But still a good season for them, man. And I don't even mean to wrap up God's season while we doing these stats, but it's just, it just draw more context to what's going on. Justin Thomas of NC State, the Wolfpack. This is why you got to watch out for these guys. These guys are still in the playoffs. These guys just beat Penn State 30-15. And you got to be conscious of a team like this, because now, they may be hot after that Penn State win. And let's see how, things start to pan out. Let's see how things go. I do like what I'm seeing out of Ace Lewis. He's coming in at number 2. So Ace is top 5 in both categories. That's why I told you gotta watch Ace. He's definitely a Malcolm candidate. Ace is definitely a Malcolm candidate. John Bronson, he just took that loss. He was the running back for the Cowboys, coming in at 7. And you see we got a nice amount of guys tied for second. And then we had a lot of guys tied 3rd, 4th, 5th. So that's why I didn't add that extra. That's the only reason why I didn't add the extra for the podcast purposes. I'm like, damn, there's gonna be too many names for me to put up. But it is what it is. AJ Mullis, Deontay Taylor, all of these guys had 7. Moving on to the receivers, you got Jackson Collins, 9. We got a 4-way tie for the receiving touchdowns. Jackson Collins leading the charge. And that's what makes Bama so dangerous, man. They have a crazy quarterback, elite wide receiving core, and an elite running back. And, that's going to be tough to deal with on a nightly basis no matter what team you are. Pat Warner, 9 touchdowns as well. J.D. Wells, 9 touchdowns. Nathan Sweet, 9 touchdowns. Jay Rello, Ja Rivers, Kasim Ramsey, all tied for 8 touchdowns. And that should have been a 3 right there. That's a typo, but I'll fix it before posting it. Yeah, man. The wide receivers looking good this year. This was their stats for the season. You see Jackson Collins doing his thing, leading the charge for the receivers in the touchdown department. And then when you go to receiving yards, you got Pharaoh Reigns, a.k.a. Profit Margins, leading the charge, 922 in the yards department. And it says TDs. I got to fix that typo as well. But we got Profit Margins with 922 yards this season, leading all receivers. No receivers got in the 1K club. That was interesting to see. But Profit Margins did get 922. He came the closest. Damon Himes had 813. CJ Hicks had 809. Cartier Ocean coming in at number 4 had 802 yards. And then Brandon James was just under the 800 mark at 799 for Notre Dame. So those are our leaders, man. Those are our receiving leaders. All of those guys terrific. All of those guys really good talents. All of those guys really put on for their team in a major way. And man, shout out to all the guys who were league leaders. So you got Profit Margins leading in receiving yards. You got Jackson Collins leading in receiving touchdowns for the first season. You got Justin Thomas leading in touchdowns with 8. You got Key Harris leading with the most yards, 1,252. And then you got Duncan Woods, 28 touchdowns. And Duncan Woods with 3,600 yards. And because this is the first season, guys, this is the records. This is the season records now. So I will make a graphic for that just so we have those tabs in the Discord. So that way anybody that comes to the Discord, they can see the record books. They can check out the record books. I am going to go through and see what's the game records as well. But I'm going to drop a season record book tab in the chat so we could track this, and this will be the new record. So headed into NCAA, that's what we're gonna do. Defense will be. I said it earlier. We're gonna show the defensive league leaders on after we wrap up the second round of the playoffs. So for the second round podcast review, we're gonna wrap up the second round, and we're gonna wrap up the second round, and we're gonna do the defensive leaders for the league. It just was a lot. Like I said, guys, it's only one of me, so it'd be a lot to get. I gotta manually track the stats and stuff too because of the different points in the mod, and then everything is not sortable because of those different points in the mod that teams reach 12 games. So we're definitely gonna have defense. Don't worry about it. We're just gonna do that in the second podcast after we wrap up round 2. So now. We could get into, let me see, what did I have on the itinerary for the, let me see, what was the topics I had? We got league leaders, round 1 playoffs, and round 2 predictions. So we could bring out we probably could bring out the franchise too for the playoff stuff. They probably have a bracket here. Yeah, they actually do have a bracket. But the problem with the bracket is that, here we go. So yeah, we're gonna do that. There we go. Here we go. So, let me get my picture. Let me move my face out the way. Put myself over here. And let you guys check this out. So, Penn State, man, these records are not accurate. Obviously, we only played 12 games. Each team only played 12 games. Shout out to my guy Nola Baby that way tuning in. My guy Keyshawn Covington in the building. So Penn State was taken out by NC State 15-30. That was huge. That was a huge victory for NC State because Penn State is a tough team. NC State did have the higher seeding though. It was expected of them to win. However, Penn State is a really tough team, man. And I think a lot of people was pulling for Johnny Manziel because they know how much work the kid put in, and they know his story. He was doubted when he came in, and he really put in a lot of work, went crazy this season, and he beat some big name teams, all off raw talent. I don't think he even did too much developing, too much training on the training packages, but he definitely just raw talent, young raw talent, and he got it done, man. NC State though really had a good game against Penn State, and that was one to watch. I actually want to go to NC State real quick and check that out on their schedule if I can. If I could dig deeper into that game. Let me see. It's probably actually no way. Yeah, it's no way for me to dig deeper into that game. But yeah, man, they actually had a really good game against Penn State. I could have uploaded the stats in the file, honestly, and that's probably what I'll do for the next podcast. But definitely, NC State got it done against Penn State. Florida beat Texas. That one was crazy. Tight game, as you can see, 17-14, and Florida, man, they threw like a Hail Mary, I believe, at the end of the game, and then they was able to get that field goal to win it. And I think that was heartbreaking. I think that was really, really heartbreaking way to lose for Texas. But, you know, it is what it is. Don't want to leave it up to the refs. You want to draw that separation and do what you do so you don't have to be in those compromising situations. But just the unfortunate way to lose for Texas. And, you know, Florida got them. Florida was a tough team this year, though, man. Florida was not a slouch at all. And they took advantage of Texas and got it done in this game. Michigan 33, Michigan State 17. And this was a really good game. Zion really did his thing in this game. Zion Lipscomb did really, really good in this game. And I actually want to go to Zion's stats for that game. Do they have the game logs for the playoffs. Yes. So Zion had 324, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. So 324, he threw 76% completion percentage. So Zion was dialed in against MSU. This was a revenge game, and Zion, as you can see, did his thing. I really want to show you guys this on a. I wish I was in the Madden file. I should have uploaded the game capture, but since I got this tool, I'm gonna just utilize it. But that's an outstanding game for Zion right there, y'all. Like, that's a crazy game right there. To have that in your first playoff game, 324, the hat trick, and 76.6 completion percentage. That's the type of game that you want your QB to have in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah, the interception, a bit of a blemish, but boy, oh boy, that's what you want right there, man. Zion did his thing, and it was dope to see. I'm happy for Michigan, but moving on, they got to make it happen, man. They're playing up against Sambuchi next game, and this is another revenge game for them. They lost to both of these teams. They lost to MSU, and they also lost to Oregon State. So Michigan on a bit of a revenge tour, and let's see if they can fix that, man. Let's see if they can fix that. Shout out to my guy Kanar Roden in the chat. Man, I don't know what you talking about, Eli, but you gotta chill, my guy. I don't even know what that's like. What are you talking about? Man, we don't need that craziness in the chat, my boy. Oklahoma State, Florida State. Florida State wins 17-3. Tyshawn Bryant played a pretty good game. Oklahoma State really just couldn't score, bro. I think the Seminoles defense went crazy, and it was a dope game. It was a dope game, but ultimately, the Seminoles went crazy. Their defense locked in, and it was nothing that Oklahoma State could do. And I got to tip my hat to Tyshawn Bryant, too, because being young, being able to stay composed and not throw away the game was something that he did. He game managed that game. The defense scored a pick six. So if you think about it, he really only scored, He only scored 1 touchdown, and I don't think he threw a touchdown or ran a touchdown. I believe that touchdown was like from a running back or something, or like a run. So, yeah, man, definitely just got to tip my hat to that defense. But I'll give him the credit where it's due as far as being a young quarterback in that situation and coming away with the win. Utah versus USC. USC gets the W. That was another tough victory, man, where I don't want to say I didn't expect it out of USC, but I knew if there was an upset that I kind of felt like was creeping, I was like, it'd be crazy to see Utah beat them, and I kind of felt like it was gonna happen, but USC got it done. They made it happen. Utah kind of came on late, like it was just a little bit too late. They made it look good at the end, but it really was a game that I felt like USC controlled, if I'm being honest. Overall, all good games, though, this week. All the playoff games were really good. It hurts to see some guys have to go home, but, it is what it is. That's how it goes. Ole Miss took a W against LSU, and that was probably the toughest matchup, I think. Maybe Michigan. Florida and Texas were really tough, too. But Ole Miss and LSU is another game that's, like, super duper tough, man. Then you got, those 2 games probably was the most highly competitive games. Michigan State too, but because Michigan State beat Michigan already, I was kind of like still giving Michigan State the edge and knew that Michigan had to play their best ball to get a W. But overall though, man, Michigan is definitely on the run. You definitely got to watch out for Michigan. They on the run. I got to see. They're on the run, but I know they did take a L recently, so they on a run, but they took a L. They're on a run, but they definitely had took a L. They took a L that slowed them down, and they went 7-5. I know that, but Michigan is definitely on a run, and I think they just getting more comfortable with each other with the game plan and executing. So that is dangerous, but you gotta watch every team right now that's in the bracket. They do have a bracket on here, but it's because the teams on this mod are like You see, they got the NFL icon. That's how it is, man. So yeah, man. Overall though, it was a good start to the playoffs. Really, really good start to the playoffs, guys. Um, and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. We got league leaders. What else we got on the menu? League leaders. Round two predictions. Let's go to round two predictions, man. Let's go to round two real quick and let's see who y'all got. So first game, Florida State, the Battle of Florida. I believe these teams played each other. Let me see what happened when they played each other during the season. Let me see this real quick. When they played each other during the regular season? Because I know they did. How did that one? Ooh, the Gators beat them 22-17. So the Gators beat Florida 22-17 during the regular season, and now they're matched up again in the divisional round. And ooh, that's a tough game, because if they played that closely in the last game, then this is going to be a fun one to watch. Next up, we got NC State versus USC. This is another really goodie. This is a sleeper goodie, because both of these teams are good, but I feel like both of these teams are the underdogs compared to the rest of the teams in the playoffs. Like, I feel like USC and NC State are the dark horses in this playoffs as it stands right now. I think those are the teams that people are like, I got Florida State. Florida makes sense. Bama definitely makes sense. Ole Miss because of the Roche brothers and that storyline over there. Michigan because they're hot. Oregon State because of Sam Bucci. But I feel like USC and NC State are very much overlooked. But the storylines in round two are definitely crazy. You got Roche versus Duke Davis. Then you have Roche versus Duke Davis. You got the Battle of Florida for the chips. Like, the Battle of Florida to keep going, to go to the conference chip. And then you got NC State, USC. Oh man, like this, the battle of the dark horses. That's the dark horse battle. That's two teams that just doesn't have a definitive star player. Really good teams. Some talented players, some really talented players. Keyshawn Covington's really talented. Cam Bryant, really talented. Brian Robinson, talented freshman running back. But I don't think none of these guys have a transcending, like, Heisman candidate on either NC State or USC. So that's what makes this game so much tougher. Florida has Tyshawn Bryant. Not that he's a Malcolm / Heisman candidate, but he's a freshman standout. He's an impact player. Florida State has an impact player in Tyshawn Bryant. Florida has Eric Weber. They got Winston Thompson, a running back. I would say those are the guys in their defense. But Florida State, they got Carl Akins though. Carl Akins is a tough linebacker, and they got Norcutt, the corner for Florida State. Florida State has a couple of impact players. Florida does as well. They have that wide receiver Clinton. Then they have Eric Weber. But I feel like Eric Weber is the main catalyst over there for Florida impact. NC State and USC, it's up in the air because these guys both have played good, and I think some low-key guys have stepped up for both of these teams to be in the position that they are in. Ole Miss with Bama. That matchup between Ole Miss and Bama is going to be epic. You got Drip Britton versus Devontae Moore, the running back battle. The wide receiver battle, you got Cinco versus Jackson Collins. Tight end, you got Aziz versus Nino Kabachi. And then QB, you got Duke and Ace Andre Roche. Even from a cornerback perspective, you got Terrell Terry and LaMelo Brackens, who nobody would really say that they're better than Ty K. Wells and Kennard Roden, but these guys got interception numbers. These guys make plays. And that's why I got to get the defensive stats. I'm definitely going to do the defensive stats next week because Terrell Terry And then LaMelo Brackens, they make plays in the secondary. Yes, they're not as talented as Ty K. Wells and Kennard Roden. They're just not from the eye test. Like, I'm just being real. But they're good, though. And they can catch you slipping. When they're on their game, Terrell Terry is one of the top corners when he's on his game. And LaMelo Brackens, he just has a knack for the football. So that's going to be an epic clash of the Titans when Ole Miss and Alabama goes at it, man. And I'm going to start the week with, I think I'm going to start the week out with the lower seeds, definitely. And then I'm going to go into the top seeded games. But, boy, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be a crazy, crazy matchup. And I can't wait, man. And this is what's so fun about simulation football, bro. It's just like the matchups, the games, the trash talk, everything that's at stake, man, the bragging rights. Because when this new NCAA comes out, guys are going to have a resume already. And guys are going to come in with that chip on their shoulder knowing the success that they had. And it's just going to be fun to watch, man. To see if, like, these guys are going to repeat, if these guys are going to do this, do that. Like, can these guys up their level of play? Can they play past their freshmen, what they did and establish as freshmen? And I think some of these guys are going to be hard for them to, match what they did freshman year, bro. If I'm being honest, I think it's going to be tough, especially on that NCAA game. But we're going to see, man. We're going to see. And really, that's the playoff wrap-up for round one. That's the round two predictions. Y'all put y'all predictions in. Let me put my predictions in. And y'all can put y'all predictions in with me at the same time. But let's just start with game one and let's pick clear predictions, guys. And if I can, one of my guys in the chat, write my predictions so I know if I'm right. Like, we could see, if I predicted correct. Florida versus Florida State. Tough, right? Tough. Florida State defense put on an outstanding performance in round one. But hear me out. I think once again experience prevails. And I know you saying that guys are saying Florida State is going to get the revenge. But I think that Florida is hungry to try to see Bama again. I think Florida is hungry to see Bama in a conference chip because they beat Bama. They are the only team to beat Bama, and Bama is still on a high horse. So I'm going to go with Florida, guys, in Florida versus Florida State. I'm going to go with Florida. Like, Eric Weber is tough, bro. Eric Weber is tough. Did NC State and USC play? Let me see. And who play? If this is another revenge game, that's crazy because I want to see who won when they played. Let me see. NC State. Yes, USC beat NC State 24-13. USC beat NC State 24-13. So this is a revenge game. I think that helps me kind of like predict that game. NC State. I think USC beat them again. I don't think there's nothing glaring about NC State. They're a good team, right? But I just think USC got the firepower. I think they got more big playability. They're a more flashier team. They have they just really got what it takes. They just really got what it takes, if you ask me. I like Cameron Bryant, bro. I like Cam Bryant a lot. That quarterback, big guy, dual threat. I like him. Then they got Keyshawn Covington, and those other receivers are really good for USC. Those other receivers are really good. I don't know if y'all watched that last playoff game. They were doubling Keyshawn Covington, and Gilliard was going crazy. Travis Sullivan and Gilliard they're perfect complementary receivers that have around Keyshawn Covington. And even the way they run their offense, I noticed, like, Keyshawn is always going over the top, and Gilliard and Sullivan do the short routes. But it works because you have to give Keyshawn Covington so much attention deep. And he showed you in that game. He was so quiet, caught a bomb. And that's what makes USC the top threat. Like, they're just too unpredictable because Brian Robinson also had a crazy game. Like he's a strong young running back freshman guy, and he went off. So it's like USC has the firepower, the big playability to make certain things happen, and I think that's gonna hurt other teams, bro. And we can look at no, we can't look at this no more because of the mod not stopping at 12 games. But man, I'm telling you guys, man. Florida State. I got Florida winning. I don't know what's telling me Florida's gonna win, but I got Florida, man. I don't think that the youth of Florida State, unless they have another defensive performance where they just shut down Florida the way they shut down the Cowboys. Which nah, I don't know. I think Florida just a little more consistent than the Cowboys offense than Oklahoma State. But you never know. Ole Miss versus Alabama. I gotta stick to the big guns, man. That is tough. It hurts me to have to choose, man, out of those guys, but I'm going with Bama. I gotta go with Bama. Bama has stepped up in all the biggest games. I doubt that they take it's not a first round, second round, but they had a bye first round. I doubt that they take an exit. They had a week to rejuvenate, get themselves together, and I think that first round bye was what they needed because of how much was taken out of those games that they had all year long, having to come back. So I'm gonna say that I'm gonna safely say that Bama is gonna come away with a pretty convincing win. I think it's gonna be a good game, but I think second half Bama is gonna work their magic, and I don't think the Rebels are gonna be able to keep up with it. I think Devontae Moore has a really crazy game that opens up things for the rest of their offense and make things tremendously difficult on Ole Miss. So I gotta go with Bama. And then we got Michigan versus Oregon State. Michigan versus Oregon State. They usually come out flat and turn up, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think they're gonna come out super flat because they had that break. They didn't get a break all year. This team played every week. So like I think that played a part. But now that they get a break, I don't think that I think they come out maybe slow, but not flat how they came out. They came out flat, put themselves in a hole, and came all the way back in games. I don't see that being the case in the playoffs. I think they know what's at stake. They know they have the target on their back, and they're going to come out trying to fire and put pressure on Ole Miss. But I think Ole Miss is going to do a good job of keeping that fire dim. However, I just think later in the game, they have more experience with cracking through, with figuring people out. I think between a staff and their personnel, I think that they're just gonna figure Ole Miss out later in the game and have their way. That's been a recipe for Bama. Figure out what's going on and have our way. So I can't see that changing. Is what I'm saying essentially. I can't see that changing. Michigan, Oregon State. This is another tough matchup. I like what I've seen out of Michigan. I really, really did. There's a lot of times that Sam Bucci came out flat also, so I'm nervous, right? However, good teams just have a knack for turning it on in the big moments. And Sam Bucci and them guys only lost 3 games this season. 9-3. And Michigan was 7-5. Not too big of a difference, but the experience may play a factor. And Zion played his behind off in the last game, and I think with Oregon State seeing that and maybe keying in and trying to make things difficult on Zion, I think it could get tough, man. I don't want to say that this is the end of the run for Michigan, but Oregon State gets one-dimensional. We've seen them get one-dimensional and almost upset. We've seen Washington almost beat them. So I'm not going to say Michigan doesn't have a chance, but this is tough. I got to go with Sam Bucci, man. Sorry, Michigan. I don't want to do this to y'all. Y'all my guys. I believe in Zion, and I love what y'all created over there. I love what y'all doing. Y'all got Jay Anthony. But this is a big test for Sambucci, man. He was one of those guys, and he kind of fell off even statistically. Let me go to Brett Sambucci's stats and share Sambucci's season stats with y'all. Because I don't think he had a bad season, but we definitely expected more, I think, out of Brett. He threw for 2,800 yards, 2,805 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. That's above average, right? But we expected that's above average. That's in the elite tier of quarterbacks when it comes to the interception ratio, touchdown to interception ratio. But also, I think we expected him to hit the end zone a little more, maybe a little more yards, maybe at least hit the 3,000 mark, the 3K club. He wasn't a part of the 3K club, but and it's funny though, cause a lot of guys that was in the most of the guys that was in the 3K club are playoff quarterbacks outside of Brock Williamson, who was another big time talent. Yeah, it's interesting seeing this, but Sambucci kind of underperformed if you ask me. No, there will not be any games tonight. There won't be any games until Monday. I'm going away. I got a business trip Friday. I leave Thursday night, and I'll be back Monday morning. So we'll get back to it Monday morning, because I have a business trip from Friday to Monday morning. Thursday night actually to Monday morning. I'm leaving Thursday night, but I'll get there Friday morning, and I won't be back until Monday. So there won't be a game tonight. You guys don't have to worry about that. And yeah, so we gonna be chilling until Monday. I know I usually try to get as many streams out as possible. I definitely try not to miss too many days, but business just been picking up with some outside things, so I've been having to fix up the time. That's why I was saying I want to get more of a consistent schedule. But I think with the playoffs, it gives me time. I can make some graphics. I could do the defensive graphics. I could just do a couple things that I've been meaning to do. Post on social medias like I've been wanting to. I could post the league leaders on social medias. I could also post the playoff brackets. It's things that I could shabby up while we're away. But we'll definitely be back Monday. We're gonna wrap up. We may be looking at a next weekend championship. We may look at a natty next weekend. Because I think when I come back Monday, I could get those games in. This is 4 games. I could get those in between Monday and Tuesday. Do a podcast Wednesday, guys. Yeah, I think Monday, Tuesday. I'll do 2 games Monday, 2 games Tuesday. Podcast Wednesday. Thursday we won't have any games because we got the event series Thursday nights. Friday I could come home and potentially do Friday I could do a game. Saturday, because it will be a semifinal, so Friday and Saturday I can do games. And then Friday and Saturday I could do games. I could do those 2 semifinal games. And then I could do a podcast and Sunday, and then Monday we probably will jump right into the natty, or we could build up some hype and get things going for the natty, man. So I'll give guys time to game plan. We're in the final countdown. We in the Elite 8 right now, if you will. So we down to the Elite 8. And get them game plans in. Do your studying. Do your homework on your team. Send them in. Upgrades as well. If you want to upgrade, hit the SC. Get it going. So yeah, man. Definitely give y'all some time on that. Appreciate y'all for tuning into the cast. If there's any questions, let's get those questions rolling right now, man. Let's get those questions. If you're new here, welcome to the Moolahverse. Only place you can see the game, be the game, play the game as the game plays you. We are a new platform bringing AI versus AI sports where you guys control your characters, controllerless experience, but it's your story. You know what I mean? You come in, you make a player, you build them up, you develop them. You got teammates, we got locker rooms, we got a dope Discord. Our Discord is like set up for success. All we gotta do is add different channels for records and things as we go. But the Discord is perfect. The structure is set. I'm pretty consistent. I've been doing this. These guys know me for years now in other leagues, so I feel like people know the consistency is there. I do have other business ventures, so I multitask, but this is a very important model for me. This is a very important business for me. So I'm always like between football and basketball is what you're going to see on this channel mostly. You may see me do some live playthroughs every once in a while, but for the most part, we like to keep it on brand with the simulation leagues. Yeah, like I said, every once in a while you may see me do some live playthroughs and play with the subscribers or some of the guys in the Moolahverse, but for the most part we stick to AI versus AI. I don't really do no user leagues and none of that. Like, you'll never see me really stream user leagues and none of that. But we will be expanding certain things that we bring to the channel. You will see more storyline episodic wrap-ups of the season and the games. I'm working on that behind the scenes, getting with some people that can edit in that fashion, and then I'll narrate, you know, like how you see traditional YouTube videos, so you don't have to watch a long live stream of each game. It will just be, you know, hitting the key events. Yeah, man, so it's gonna be fun to watch. And if y'all have any questions, man, definitely, if y'all got any questions, drop them questions in. We gonna rock out till 8:55. After 8:55, I'm gonna call it quits. I'm gonna head out. I'm actually about to head out too. I'm just preparing for my trip. So yeah, man, if y'all don't got no questions, I am out. It's your boy Kamish Moolah. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me. We will be back with more in due time. It was a pretty good podcast, man. It's always a good podcast. I'm gonna get better as I go. You guys know this. As I always say, true to this, not new to this. So you know, it's a work in progress, but we working. I think we made a lot of progress too. I think we did a lot establishing ourselves as a league, as a community, as a channel. And I just appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate my guy Keyshawn Covington. We gonna get better. Anyways, y'all see fit of this thing getting better, let's do it together, man. I'm over here dropping controllers, but let's do it together, man. Let's rock out. If y'all got any ideas, y'all know I'm always open. And you know, it's just me doing this, bro. I don't have a big staff or none of that. I got some mods that are dope. Got some diehard supporters and some diehard family members in the Moolahverse that help me. But you know, for the most part, we getting this done. So if it's things that I can implement and y'all have ideas, just send them to me. Like, even if I can't do them, still send me the idea so we can find a way to incorporate it. So yeah, man, let's get in the Discord. Let's chop it up. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I am out. Peace.